Chapter 8, Refugees. Emperor Heishin has been erased, and the Empire is now in Scott's hands. Scott's army, which appeared out of nowhere, inflicted heavy damage on the resistance, forcing them to retreat. Scott continued to give chase, inflicting still more damage on Yugi and his army as they fled. During the retreat, Yugi learns that a group of refugees is being chased by Imperial forces in Uravi Canyon. He also learns that Taya is the one trying to protect the refugees against overwhelming odds. Yugi and friends rush to the aid of Taya, only to end up surrounded by the Imperial units chasing them. Red 2 standing by, all for lit and in the green. Welcome back to YuGiOh the Falsebound Kingdom. We only have 4 units we can take into this particular battle, and they are 4 mandatory ones. So our other allies are going to have a bit of a break. I might edit Mako's team and see what we can get. Now, what level is Octoburst? Octoburster is level 1, but it does come with a few more action points. So what I'll do is I'll remove those from Jellyfish, and we'll set Octoburster onto Mako's team. So that should give him a little more firepower, all things considered. Do we have a spare Dragonic attack for Kairyushin? Yes, I do. Well, right, and I might as well give Octoburster a deal of Phantom. So, Bakura's team is doing alright. It could be better, but it could be a lot worse. Fizdus coming along quite well. So Hornimp has reached compatibility. Silverfang is very strong. We didn't unlock any new units in that battle, but we can get some new ones here. Shimon didn't get to fight very much, but if we plan this out, we actually might have a big advantage. Now, what we want is 1 Electro Whip and 1 Beast Fangs. Or the Cyber Shield, actually. So, there we are. Wait, how much does Cyber Shield boost? Ah, it's a 500 boost. So it's no different to Beast Fangs in all fairness. But it just fits the Harpy theme. Interestingly enough, Electro Whip is not Harpy themed. It's actually the equipped spell card that is the counterpart to Silver Bow and Arrow and Legendary Sword for Thunder-type monsters. It boosts their attack and defense by 300 points. So, we've got that. Tristan's team. Doing pretty solidly, all things considered. Joey's team. Let's outfit Joey's team, because Joey, well, he's got a warrior team. And that means heavy damage against dragons. I got a few more red medicines. We'll keep Giltier on his team. Flame Swordsman is probably closest to... Actually, what do we have in the way of powerful units for him? Not a lot. So I'll stick with Giltier for now. Because Giltier also benefits from being a warrior monster. So, anybody comes up against this team with dragons, they're going to get smashed. Now, we don't have any items for machines just yet, which is a bit of a nuisance. Because once we get Shock Shell, we will be able to confuse opponents' monsters and stop them using certain items. Yugi's team still pretty strong. Mako's team I can't do too much more with. Fizdus' team is coming along alright. Good compatibility for Zombie Warrior. Nice. So, this one can be a little tricky, but I'm gonna take it on and give it a shot. I will, of course, save just in case anything goes wrong. Now, first time you do this, it's difficult. Well, actually, I might wait a little bit and then we can move on. So, I'll do a little bit of research. We'll do a practice run and then I'll wind up finding what we need to and we'll be able to take the battle on.
Ha 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 ha! You gave me a pretty good run, little girl. I'll give you that.
There's nowhere left to run.
Don't give up, Taya. It's not over yet.
Yugi!
We came to help. Lord Yugi, Scott's units are almost here. If they get here, we've had it. Once we rescue Miss Taya, we need to break through the enemy line, and then move our entire force into the Craw Valley.
This one's a bit of a rush, but what we need to do is move this force as far north as possible. We should avoid the enemy. They have the ability to constantly home in on us, which is a pain in the backside. We need to move Joey out this way too. Let's see. About here. And then return our focus to Taya. If I get her going as far north as I possibly can. And then wait just a little bit more. Right, let's cut for home. The enemy will start homing in on us, which is really annoying, and we'll probably have to have 1 or 2 fights along the way. Now, the problem with this particular fight is it's really, really difficult the first time around. And we also get decent supplies, but Dancing Elf isn't very strong. We'll get introduced to these monsters. It's just a pain in the backside having to do this because we're getting introduced to some new enemy mechanics. Pay attention to that and be careful, because you do not want to wind up running into Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast. We have way more AP than the enemy, so we should probably start laying into them, try and take out the healer, and wait for our enemies to use up their action points. Alright, okay. So it's going to be a bit of a difficult battle. In all fairness, we might not get... Ah! That is really infuriating because it's actually very hard to get the clean kill if your attacks miss. And then you get catapulted back into the enemy, which means that you basically get knocked into a chain of fights and you've only got like 1 healing item, so you just wind up dying. It's unbelievably bothersome. Hopefully we'll get out of this one alive, because I think we wind up swapping places with the enemy if we do wind up just beating them but not killing them. And that's a right royal nuisance. Wait, what? Oh, that was not meant to happen. That was not meant to happen. That was not meant to happen. Wait for Queen of Autumn leaves, and now we can pick her off. Actually, this might work in my favor. I might be able to make this work in my favor. I mean, Chimera is strong, but not as strong as I thought, in all fairness. Okay, this one might work in my favor. It's just... Dancing Elf is so weak, I'm not going to be able to do very much damage. That attack of Gaika Tenno Megamis hadn't missed. Believe me, this is so much easier when you actually come back to this one with an upgraded team, because they'll still hold their items. You can rip these teams to shreds if you put some work into this team over the stories, and you basically come back with a powered up Taya. Her monsters are really strong, and it's just good night bad guys. Taya can probably defeat the entire pursuing force by herself if you train these monsters well. Okay, so this isn't going to be enough to kill Chimera unless I get a critical. But the damage we inflict on this, unfortunately, won't really allow us to win the battle. Better focus on healing now. I think we've lost this one. Well, the AI actually did something intelligent that I really didn't think it would wind up doing. That really threw my plans off, and it's probably going to spiral into a network of disaster from here. Suppose I better get Yugi out and actually get some help. Yeah, not surprising that went badly. And yeah, this happens. You just get comboed. Well, they've used up polymerization, so I'll start introducing these monsters, perhaps, while the fight rages on. YuGiOh no Megumi's international debut was in Kaiba's starter deck, and otherwise only appeared in an anniversary promo set with art drawn by Kazuki Takahashi. In Japan, it debuted in the EX starter box. YuGiOh no Megumi is said to be a rare card in the manga, and it's often seen in Kaiba's possession. The only time he has actually used it in the manga, however, is to jam the action of Saru Watari's revolver so he could get the upper hand and beat the crap out of him. Fitting in a way for a card whose name translates to Goddess of Reversal. Interestingly, games like this are the only time we see her full body. Both of her artworks have her drawn in profile with just the face showing. But for some reason, I've always really liked this card. It's just one of those strange things. There's just something simple yet beautiful about the art, especially Takahashi's version. She's just really nice to have along, and she's very useful in this game too. Dancing Elf made its international debut and only appearance in Tournament Pack 2. In Japan it debuted in Premium Pack, and then appeared in Tournament Pack 2008 Volume 4. Alright, there's really not a lot to say about this one. It's very hard to find. It's a level 1 monster, so we know its stats are bottom of the barrel. There are exceptions to this, admittedly. And apart from some fairly nice art, there isn't really a lot going for Dancing Elf. But, as is the case with a lot of monsters in this game, it will turn out alright since it gains the ability to ensure its attack always hits, even before you actually factor in the silver bow and arrow, and it can blind all enemies once it learns its special attack. Otherwise, it's really just a curiosity at best. Dark Witch's international debut and only appearance was in Spell Ruler. The same applies for its Japanese releases, though their set titled Spell Ruler was one of 2 comprising the international set. Joining Octobursa in the File and Forget Club is Dark Witch. Despite its name, it's a light fairy type. I don't know why they didn't want to call it Valkyrie, which is its Japanese name. Maybe they weren't quite ready for any sort of religious reference, even Norse ones, which seems a bit odd, especially since they've got the Aesir archetype. Time moves on, I guess. Anyway, I'm really just padding here if I'm going to be honest, because Dark Witch isn't very special in the card game. But once again, she will be serviceable here. That's really all. That's pretty much it for all of Taya's monsters. Let's get back to the game. Alright, we might have a bit of a break on them. Let's get some anti-ground cannons and one anti-ground cannon and an anti-air cannon built. Not much for the trader. Joey should be getting close to finding the monster around here. That's pretty much my only hope in that regard. Are you going to find it? God. There we go. What's that? You're a friendly little guy, aren't you? You want me to take you with me? Joey has found his baby dragon. Let's get Joey back to the base because he can take on a few enemies. But as you can see, that massive gaggle of enemies is really horrible to try and get past. Because you've got two teams that have that lineup. You've got two teams with this lineup. And you've got Marvelous and Wing Eagle. And oh yeah, they confuse as well. This is a nightmare. This is a minor nightmare. I need to have Yugi sit out of the base as well. Alright, Taya's on defense. Tristan can sit on defense for a bit. Let's move Shimon out. Alright, let's hope that was the lead team. Alright, Tristan, you're up. So we've basically seen this team. So once again, I'll get back to introducing monsters and we'll move right on ahead. I need to kill Gazelle. Baby Dragon's international debut was in Joey's Starter Deck and Metal Raiders, being a short print in the latter, which is a cop-out because it's like making it a really rare card without making it a rare card. In Japan, it debuted in Volume 6 as a standard rare. Could be worse, but it's not great. Baby Dragon does pack a lot of potential, but in the anime, Joey had to beat the odds to bring out Thousand Dragon. Thankfully, fusing Baby Dragon with Time Wizard is much easier in the TCG, and indeed in this game, no janky luck involved. This monster can also team up with Alligator Sword for the fairly useful Alligator Sword Dragon. So it's pretty clearly a very capable baby, they're not kidding about the untapped power. I guess we can excuse those stats not being that good on paper since it ages like a good wine. It even has a form 100 Dragon, and then there's 10,000 Dragon as well. So it's quite a versatile little monster. And we have ourselves a new battle. Teams of Marvelous and Wing Eagle are just horrible, because they will almost always, from about this point onwards, be packing polymerization and trying to get rid of that, only to find out you have to deal with Crimson Sunbird, is a pain in the backside. Not to mention that they're generally fairly strong, especially in those higher ranked battles. But I should probably start some Violet Crystal shenanigans. I should have put a barricade in. Alright, let's power up the squad and move very carefully. Plan our attacks. Okay, so they're basically just waiting. Let's chip away at them, and when the opportunity is right, we strike. As I said, it's very, very difficult planning all these out, and of course we do need to wind up attacking the healer sometimes. But that'll take Winged Dragon out of the equation and probably stop them fusing. Maybe if I could... Yeah. I know they'll fuse if they get low on health. It's usually a good strategy, admittedly, to wind up using your your last AP with a monster to fuse, so that you will actually get... Let's get these sorted. So that you will actually get more action points out of it, and I'll introduce the fusion monsters later on. We will of course get to know about those, but only when we actually have the capacity to fuse the various monsters. At long last, they actually miss for a change. Notably, Wing Eagle's flavor text does mention it never misses, so it just proved itself wrong. Well done, Wing Eagle. Alright, let's rain down death and destruction on these morons. Shimon's team is really, really good for this. I think we might actually be able to kill Wing Eagle without worrying about fusion. And because I can stock up my AP pretty much any time I like, as long as my supply of violet crystals lasts, I'm all good to go. There we are, down and out. Let's take care of Marvelous, which is itself a fusion monster and actually arguably worse than one of its fusion materials. We'll get into that a bit later on. There's kind of a long story. Some monsters in the game actually are, in terms of stats, worse than their fusion material. Take Camion Wizard, for example. Camion Wizard has 1300 attack and 900 defense. It's a fusion of Curtain of the Dark Ones and... what's its thing? The what's its thing being Mystical Elf. But Mystical Elf has 2000 defense. Only 800 attack but 2000 defense, so arguably it is better as a shield than Camion Wizard. Mystical Elf will survive more attacks, and it only costs one card to play. Ooh, good levels for Neck Hunter, it's picking up nicely. You can usually get really good levels when you're facing the higher leveled monsters. Okay, where's Taste? I'd like Taya to face this one, but... and... rightio, so Joey should have the last one. Taya can wipe out the damaged enemies. We have no fusions here. Even though, as we saw, Beast King of the Swamp is a fusion substitute monster. Oh, Dark Witch has blue medicine as well, I didn't realise. Whoops. Okay. Right, shoot the healer. Gaiakateno Megami has demonstrated Stormtrooper level accuracy. Thank you. The fight gets a lot easier from here. So we'll complete this, then we'll have Joey blitz the last enemy, and then Yugi can face off against the boss. If we retreat into Craw Valley, the mission will end, and Seeker will call us cowards. This is admittedly coming from the guy who cheated to get Exodia. So I don't think he has any room to talk. Shouldn't be too hard to finish this one off. Unfortunately, we are just doing chip damage with the Dancing Elf, so for heaven's sake, level up Dancing Elf so it's not a liability when you do this again. Because you will need to do this again. You will actually need to play Yugi's story 3 times. Alright, now we wait. Do I have enough time to build a barricade? And Ghoul with an appetite is annoyingly alive. It's going down. It's going down. Very minor tempting fate there. Oh, this mission is such a fiasco the first time around. It is a nuisance. Ah. Well, at least they got some levels into them. I'm keeping Taya's team as is. Good, we got the barricade in. Let's go, Joey. So, we have almost completed our battles with the pursuing forces. We still have nothing in the way of... Joey's team still has nothing in the way of action points. What a pain. Alright. Gauge our attacks carefully. Then we hit it. I mean, okay, so I screwed up there. I was fully expecting that if I... See, that's the thing. I tempt fate. Like, if I went ahead and attacked Beast King of the Swamp, then it would have had its turn next and it would have been able to heal itself and my work would have gone... You see what I mean? I swear the game does this on purpose. I swear. I swear it will change the order in which units act so it can screw you over by healing. I knew it was going to happen, that's why I waited. Because if I had chipped it down to that last little sliver of health it was going to heal, I'm like, okay, it'll be fine, it's the turn of my monsters to kill it, but no. Of course, once you get Shock Shell. Oh boy, once you get Shock Shell. Machine monsters put in so much work. Like, I think just the sheer fact that a machine monster can be on your team, that its normal attack can confuse the opponent and stop them from healing, stop them from fusing, stop them from using special attacks. Like, they're not quite as broken as some. Easily the most broken combination in the entire game is the Harpy Ladies, hands down. But machine monsters are so good with suppression techniques. Like, the enemy can't do anything but attack when they're confused. So if we get Shock Shell, we're set. And they guard. Alright, on we go. Let's start speeding it up again and showing any profiles I haven't shown. Shapesnatch made its international debut and only appearance in Pharaonic Guardian. In Japan, it debuted and made its only appearance there in their set with the same title. Shapesnatch is described as a bow tie with horrible power, and when you look at it, those stats sure are horrible, there is no denying that. The reason Shapesnatch is interesting is partly because the mimetic horribleness, but because it was one of 11 immortal monsters in Duelists of the Roses. Those other immortal monsters were Carrot Idol, which has not been released in the game in any way, Electromagnetic Bagworm, Jowls of Dark Demise, Moisture Creature, which appears in this game, Mucus Yoke, Rigorous Lever, Servant of Catabolism, Slate Warrior, which was a promo for this game, Soul Eater, and Time Eater. Most of them had interesting effects, but most of them aren't fantastic in the card game. In Duelists of the Roses, they could freely move in and out of crushed terrain, and transformed their surrounds into crushed terrain on defeat, which would usually kill the enemy. Slate Warrior did turn up as a promo for this game, but it was actually one of the promos with Duelists of the Roses, along with Electromagnetic Bagworm and Rigorous Lever. Yatagarasu made its international debut in Legacy of Darkness, appearing again in Dark Beginning 2 and Retro Pack 2. In Japan, it debuted in Mythological Age and appeared in other re-release sets over there. Yatagarasu is said to be one of the reasons the ban list was introduced to competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! It was one of the game's ultimate dick moves, chipping your opponent down bit by bit after destroying their resources. This bothersome little crow is the only way to actually force the AI to surrender in various video games, as even they want to avoid the death of 1,000 cuts. They'll still try and do something even when you're staring them down with a massive army, plenty of back row protection, but this bird comes up and they will surrender. It's also a nuisance to destroy being a spirit. You need traps on the field or to hit the hand somehow afterwards. You can see why it was banned, and why some of the other spirits got hit too.
You cannot defeat Master Scott! Surrender at once!
Alright, so we've actually got a familiar pairing. Monster Tamer and Dungeon Worm worked together in the manga and anime. It's a fairly strong monster. We note that the enemy healer is Monster Tamer. Dungeon Worm gets very dangerous early on because it's got Castle Adept straight off the bat. So it can dish out quite a lot of damage. I've only got one monster with red medicine. At least I can outfit more. Let's start dealing a bit of damage to Monster Tamer. Alright, it's only got blue medicine. So Dungeon Worm counts as a beast. So we're not going to be able to do like huge amounts of damage to it with any other monster. Let's hope this is a knockout. Oh, very nice. The healer is down. Now we need to concentrate our fire on Dungeon Worm. They are just going to abuse the Illusory Gentleman. It's going to go pretty smoothly from here because Dungeon Worm, apart from the fact that Monster Tamer can heal, Dungeon Worm is the biggest threat in this fight early on. But we've got some fairly strong monsters, so we don't have a lot to worry about. Ideally, anyway. Should be able to hold up alright. We're dishing out lots of damage. Alright, next time Celtic Guardian's turn comes around, because, okay, willing to put a bet on, the turn order's going to change because Cybersaurus might have a shot at... No, it didn't. But yeah, next time Celtic Guardian will heal and will take down Cybersaurus. Notice that since we have one considerably stronger monster, all their fire is focused on it. But now we can annoy them in the same way they've been annoying me. In all fairness, if you actually get past that massive enemy squad first time around, if you make it through this and actually train Taya's team fairly well, you blitz through this because you can just kill Baphomet in a couple of attacks. I don't think Baphomet tends to have very high HP, but all the monsters will be in very high levels when you do this again, so watch out. We've pretty much got free reign to wail on this one. So yeah, once you take down the healer, or if you just concentrate your fire on Dungeon Worm, this team is not actually very strong. They'll get better now, but if you do decide to take the fight to Seeker, you can handle this boss fight really easily. And a critical to wrap it up. That's a nice bit of catharsis. We got some experience for Dark Magician. Very good, very good, very good. Very good results indeed. And there we are.
Ah! Forgive me, Master Scott!
Usually, bosses like that don't forgive people. But we've made it through a particularly annoying mission and now we can start to fight back. Thank you very much for joining me. Till next time, this is Red 2, returning to base.